Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. This will be my last of the series. I thought I could do this for a month, but I think we pretty much covered it. And my name's Randy Stevens. I've been talking about PTSD free and how to live a life free of PTSD. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a licensed anything. I'm just a guy that has what I found out recently was CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and found this out by way of just relational problems, which is kind of going to go along with what today's message is entitled, subtitled, It's a Family Affair. And it's a family affair because you're really, even though I've had fun making these videos and it's been informative, uh, maybe fun's not the word, but it's helped me to I think get a jump start on my life and therapy and what's going to happen with me as far as this this thing called PTSD and what to do with it. But the knowledge that I've gained, and I hope that you've gained too, has helped me to see some things about how this operates and validate some things about how I've acted in the past. And, we talked about in the first couple videos, we talked about PTSD and the difference between PTSD and CPTSD, being that PTSD was maybe like where war vets come back, a one-time event, a traumatic event that happened one time, like maybe battle or something, or you came across one lady in one of the videos that I had mentioned she had come across her best friend dead. So something like that could cause your brain to get frozen in the state of trauma. Uh, so that would and not everybody experiences trauma the same way, but 3 million people are affected by this each year. So we had the difference. So that was PTSD, and then we had CPTSD, which was the relational PTSD, complex PTSD, something that's happened to you, say, my alarm went off. I'm up before my alarm. Say something that happened to you, say like relational, where you had a trauma, where you, in my case, neglect or abandonment. They list a lot of things that you could say you lived in a brothel or something, you grew up in a brothel, or you were sexually abused repeatedly in your especially in childhood. So childhood trauma, uh, more likely CPTSD. And having that diagnosis, having that said, is not the end of the story. That's not why I'm here, to get a diagnosis and stay there. That diagnosis to me represents a treatment. And so, say somebody said you had CPTSD, but you actually had borderline personality (BPD), and you get the wrong treatment, and that's not going to help you. So, with that, that diagnosis helped me explain a lot of things because I've been reading a lot and studying a lot. And again, I'm nothing. You guys can do all this yourself. I've just been researching on the internet what uh, things about PTSD and CPTSD and how this all happens. And I'm glad I have, because I didn't know it was physical. I didn't know that I had it. It explains to me how and why my behaviors and what's been going on in my relationships, especially with my wife and children. So, and then in the second day, we talked about treatments and some of the treatments that you could go through, EMDR being one for PTSD. Definitely cognitive therapy is important, and also lifestyle changes. If you're going to be taking antidepressants or getting those, if you think you need those, I'm shooting for more of natural ways, like Dr. Axe, and I have that in the video number 2, I believe. And then number 3, we talked about how many people are affected. It's 3 million a year. So with all that being said, and with all the behaviors and things, this one is probably the most important of the video series, and I'm calling that it's a family affair because families are affected. And this affects marriages, and it affects marriages horribly. It creates problems with trust, closeness, intimacy, communication, decision, and problem solving. And then you have partners who they might feel isolated, alienated, and frustrated. They could actually get PTSD from somebody has PTSD. It's so the effect on the people around you is hard, because they might feel helpless, and they might feel like that you're not going to get over this PTSD. They might become angry or distant. The anger outburst and improper impulses, if you will, are scary for those around you. And verbal or violence can occur, and the partners might feel controlled. So it doesn't have to be the end of your marriage if you get help. You and your spouse didn't elect to have PTSD enter into the marriage, and it's not something that with help you can get through. And it doesn't mean you can't have a stronger marriage. 38% survival rate of marriages, and that's not very good. Like I said, PTSD is a horrible thing. They can, though, people with PTSD can maintain and rebuild successful marriages and relationships with dedication and commitment and perseverance by attending counseling, couples counseling. It really is going to take both parties, if you will. I feel like the partner of PTSD has been affected, and probably should talk to a counselor or talk to the counselors that if you're not in counseling, you should be in counseling. But I would suggest that you get on the ball with that. But the partners should be involved too. And really, in my case, I'm married for 32 years with 4 children, and my kids have been affected. So, if they could somehow be involved, I know my children would support me in anything. If they, if there's resentments and just having to go through that, if they, they needed to be involved, that would be something that I would strongly suggest could happen. But being open and honest and respectful and considerate and practicing problem solving with your mate and communication, open communication, and of course, being together, playing together, and avoiding triggers, or getting to know each other's triggers, because maybe that's part of love, and not actively seeking to hurt the other person, or if you knew that was a trigger for another person, uh, talking about those things anyways. Definitely avoiding drugs and alcohol. Mine's day 5 today. It's Friday. It's 25th of January. So off alcohol. Still have a headache, but that's okay. I feel better. I've lost weight. And I'll just tell you that treatment is essential to winning this battle with PTSD. I'm not there yet. I'm right now at the trying to handle addictions, and it was a real bummer for me to go in and hear that from the counselor, because the way it was said to me was, we really can't work on your trauma. We got to work on these addictions. So that was a bummer for me, because, and I know it's true. I've lived here for 7 years, and I don't think I've missed too many days of drinking in the time that I've been in Florida. Maybe 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks off. I used my mom coming out as an excuse to quit and to try that, and I did it. And throughout my son's wedding, I lost 20 pounds, I think. I don't know how long ago that was, but that has been it since we came to Florida. And before that, we lived in Tennessee. Before that, we started. We didn't drink for a long time, and or any of those things. And then those things were reintroduced to our lives. And I don't think that, looking back on that, I don't think that was a wise choice at all. And I think that uh, alcohol and drugs are no way to live. And I'm glad that I'll be going to AA today, and I'm glad to be doing that. And hopefully get these monkeys off my back and to be able to now get into my therapy for this PTSD. And like I said, knowledge is good, and I hope that this knowledge has helped you. I'll leave some more links as far as for families, some stuff out there. To my family, to my wife. I'm so sorry for the hurt I've caused you in life, and I pray that you forgive me, and I pray that you have understanding for this. It's on your end. I've tried to put myself into your shoes, and I just can't imagine the grief and the strife that you had to go through watching me lose my cool, just and not be able to take stress on. And that's something as a person that I've learned, and is that in looking back at those times, and that was the knowledge. The knowledge helped me. So once I saw the knowledge say that CPT, trying to change my wife, for example. Well, when I saw that on paper, or when I saw that on the internet saying this is what people do that have that, I don't know, that made a big difference in my head, because I always thought that the stress I felt, or the intense emotional pain that I felt, belonged to my wife. Say for when she shut down, I spoke about that, or her way of handling things is to shut down and turn off. And so for me, that's been a trigger, because I was abandoned. And so this anger would flare up. So I would definitely, where is this coming from? You try to explain that, and you look at the other person and go, well, that must be you. And you need to change that for me to feel better. And that's exactly what the doctors spoke about in this, and exactly what I've experienced, or we've experienced. So with that being said, when you have that knowledge, it helps. I think it's a help, and I hope it helps you in your challenge with PTSD. Uh, I think that you have to get therapy, and you have to go through it and get to the bottom of where, for example, in my life, I'm going to have to figure out where that, and relive that, not relive it, but to get through the abandonment and where that actually happened, even as painful as that might be, or that might even trigger some feelings and everything, and you might want to try to avoid it. I would not try to avoid that. That's a part of the therapy. Time is not going to heal you. Time, talk, and tears will heal you. Time alone will not. I've been through this my whole life, and time hasn't done anything. I have been able to regulate some things about myself, but no, this has affected myself, my marriage, my family, my spiritual walk, my entire life. And so I'm tired of it, and I'm looking forward to moving into PTSD free. And I hope y'all will be too. I will again put some links. Please consider your family, and think about those things. And I hope you all be well. And again, I hope all this was informative to you. And take care. God bless. Father God, thank you again for this day. And thank you for the knowledge, and help me to change and help those who have PTSD to change and get the help that they need for this problem. Once again, it's not in your head, guys. It's a physical thing. 3 million people have it. Don't beat yourself up too bad, but please get some help, and we'll talk to you later.